Hello everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Do-It-Yourself Budget Hot Rodding, Lady Mavericks Unite. It's been a little while since we've done Lady Mavericks Unite, but this is one that's been kind of in the making for a little while, and let me explain. Obviously, this project car needs no introduction, none other than Project Lena. Right next to me is a 2004 Chevy Impala. Now this Chevy Impala now belongs to none other than my other half, Princess Starsong, a heart project car, if you will. Now, ironically enough, if you look close enough, you'll notice, wait a minute, those engines are the same. Well, don't adjust your sets, that's exactly right, okay? This is a 3.4 liter V6 here in Project Lena. Over here in the Impala is yet another 3.4 liter V6. Now this was just forward thinking, okay? Because since we both now have 3.8s, we only got to keep one set of parts around so we can actually, it's like servicing the same vehicle. But are they the same vehicle? This brings us to today's topic. Now, there's a long-standing myth about the age of performance, the golden age of performance, the muscle car era. I already hear some of the guys wanting to play keyboard warrior already. How can you do that with these cars? And let me explain. Because thankfully, you ladies who want to learn about the car world, it's going to make a whole lot of sense really quick. Now, bear in mind, the only thing really separating these two cars, because they're both made by General Motors, is the fact, and again, they both have the same engine. What makes them pretty much the same is the fact, engine. The engine is the same. However, we're not comparing apples to apples. This is a luxury car. This is a mid-size, a mid-size car with a performance package. Now this would have been no different if this car would have came with the Super Sport package. Then it would have been a mid-size luxury car with a Super Sport package. How does this tie into the old days of performance, the muscle car era? And here it is. There's oftentimes there's guys that try to sit there and say, well, all the cars from the 60s were muscle cars. No, they weren't. Okay? And we'll get to that term, muscle car, soon enough. Now, ironically enough, again, we're not comparing apples to apples. You will, apples and oranges, okay? The reality of it is that this car has a performance package. It's got a heavy-duty transmission, the ram air induction, which actually gives it an increased boost in performance. Along with that, Even got, it's supposed to have low profile 16-inch tires. These I haven't gotten to look at, but I drove this car already. She's a luxury car, and she's very heavy, which that's the way Impalas are supposed to be. So, very comfort, cushiony ride, not so much. Yeah, still quick, but not as quick as beginning to see it here, okay? One is not like the other, even though the engines are the same. Now, back in the heyday of the performance era, during the 1960s, when every car was a muscle car, again, I could hear the guys in the background trying to type away fast enough. Oh, I'm sorry, it's more like this nowadays. They can't handle a full-size keyboard. The reality of it is that not every car was a muscle car, okay? Which, again, we're going to get to that term in a moment. So, Lady Mavericks, what do I mean by that? Okay, let's take a 327, which would have been something that would have been in the earlier version of this car, okay? The 327. That 327 came in multiple configurations. Came with a 2-barrel carburetor, a 9-to-1 compression ratio. Maybe it was, a simple 3-speed manual or a 4-speed manual. Maybe you had a little bit of money, could afford the option and get the automatic. Whatever the case may be. But let's just say this was an Impala from the same time. Maybe this one came with the Super Sport package, came with a 4-barrel carburetor, M21 Muncie, a 4-speed manual transmission, a deeper gear ratio in the rear end, stiffer suspension, beginning to see it. One of these cars is not like the other. Both were, what I'm talking about are 327s. But one has more performance than the other. That's what made the muscle car era. Okay? So, if you ever hear your other half sit there and say, well, all of them had a lot of performance back then. Not exactly. That's not exactly true. Now, those two-barrel carbureted 327s were no slouch, but they didn't have the performance of the ones that had the beefier stuff on it. Okay? So just kind of understand that as we're kind of going along. So now that we've got that established, and I've made every so-called car guy pissed off. Car guy is just a nice way of saying car enthusiast. They read the brochure. Hey, I ain't pulling any punches, Lady Mavericks. I'm going to tell them guys how it is. Now comes to the most important part that you're going to hear in this. Okay? This is just continuing what they started in the muscle car era. This technically is also the same. Because you either had the performance package or you didn't. Okay? And if you didn't, you wish that you did. Okay? And what do I mean by that? Yes, there was a muscle car era. There is no such thing as a muscle car. Both cars are mid-sized cars. One has a performance package, the other one doesn't. That's the honest-to-goodness truth. That was a marketing ploy. That was started off by none other than Pontiac. Okay? It was a marketing ploy. And so-called hot rodders, car enthusiasts, have fallen for that advertisement, hook, line, and sinker. Inside the car community, inside the actual manufacturers, using these cars is actually explaining. Both of them are mid-sized car. One has a performance package, the other one doesn't. And if you didn't have it, you wish that you did. That's how this works. So ladies, now you have a lot more than the guys do. And trust me when I say, the next time your guy says, well, I would like to have one of the muscle cars from the 60s, you can look at him and say, there is no such thing, because muscle cars were an advertising thing. And if he tries to tell you that, well, all of them back then were muscle cars, as you could see, going by the timeline, no, they weren't. Love pissing them so-called car guys off. Again, that's just a nice way of the nice modern way of saying car enthusiast. They read the brochure. Alrighty, So that brings us to a great stopping point for this particular video. In one of our next videos, ladies, we're going to be underneath the hood of this, so you might want to stick around. And yes, the guys can sit in the back. And we're going to dress this thing up, get her cleaned up, and get her ready for inspection so Princess Star Song can start driving this baby, and we can take some miles off of poor Project Lena. It is what it is, right guys? Alrighty. So, get on over, check out Patreon. $1 a month grants you access to Cinnamon's Discord, and along with that, get on over to Teespring. Get yourself some Prince Magnum channel swag, and last but definitely not least, get out there and work on a project. Don't care what it is, just do something with yourselves. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for every last one of you out there, no one out there has told you that they love you today. Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.
I admire your honesty. Hell, I like you. You can come over to my house and fuck my sister.